Hey everybody, Jeremy here. Been a while since I made a video, but was thinking about it and I really want to get back into this. I think that a lot of people got a lot of value um, kind of out of the PPC stuff. I will say that having a kid, I really underestimated. It's wonderful, by the way. If you're thinking about doing it, if you're considering it, do it. It's both more challenging, but less challenging. People make it sound like it's the end of the world. It's not. It's incredibly, incredibly rewarding. But that said, especially the first couple of months, time crunch, right? Now that I'm kind of back into a good uh, sort of groove, I want to start focusing more on something that I think is really going to actually take off here in the next couple of years. If I had to say, what is the next big ad platform, I'd place my money on it being Reddit, to be honest, right? And Reddit's kind of a weird ad platform to use, right? It's definitely one that feels like it's in its infancy, um, in a lot of ways, right? Like compared to a Facebook or a Google, it just doesn't have that much complexity. But that said, it's blue ocean, right? When you can figure it out, you can make a lot of money. I'm running some like affiliate offers and things like that. Just playing around with it. I've got a couple of clients that are running Reddit ads now too, and it's something that I want to explore more. And it's something I think that you all could get a lot of value out of. So I'm gonna start doing some videos on Reddit ads. And I just this one I'm just gonna kind of high level go through, but there's just so much opportunity. People think Reddit is super hostile to ads, which is kind of true. Reddit's super hostile to crappy ads. Um, like a lot of advertisers are unfortunately exceedingly lazy. They're not particularly creative. It's a lot of milk toast, like very bland, inoffensive corporate just garbage. And we can do better. We can do better, a lot of these advertisers, they haven't taken the time to learn Reddit, for what it's worth. Not that I'm, some deep expert. I've been doing Reddit ads for a while, but and really stepped up here the last couple of months. But like, I've been a Reddit user for a decade, and I just think they just don't understand how the community works. I think that they really discount it. I think they see stuff like ad blockers and things like that as like, um, as like this inherent, like, oh, everybody on Reddit hates ads, and like some people do, right? You'll get irate comments, things like that. But like, there's just a lot of people that hate bad ads. You can't just throw crap out there. So I just wanted to run through kind of Reddit's done a lot of updates here recently, which has been interesting. Um, you know, they've done like, how do I say it? Like they've broadened the number of campaigns types that they have, right? Substantively, they've also changed around the bidding structure a little bit and things like that. And they've actually had, we'll kind of run through that as we go. But I just want to kind of high level overview some Reddit ads today, and kind of over the next couple of weeks, maybe foreseeably into the future, because I'm kind of all in on Reddit ads, to be honest. Facebook keeps going up in price. AdWords has just been saturated. There's still a lot of value in those platforms, and I still, use them on a daily basis. But Reddit ads are pretty money. So let's go into here. This is the Reddit ads dashboard. If you want to sign up, you go to ads.reddit.com. This is kind of one of my more inactive accounts, right? My personal account. So if you're gonna go and you're gonna get started, right? You have to set up. You have to set up your billing and all that and things like that, right? But you go and you click create campaign, and so they've got some interesting options now. So Reddit recently launched, one of the things that they recently changed was they launched cost per click advertisements, right? And they have a CPM model as well. So to kind of do an analogy, Google ads have a cost per click model, right? That's one of the reasons that it's so attractive. You only pay for the click. The minimum bid on that, we can get into that in a minute. But then they also have CPM. Um, you know, it really depends on your objective. I haven't actually used app installs, I should also say, yet, but I hope to soon. Um, you know, I I haven't gotten a lot of value out of the CPM stuff. I find that the CPM is very high. Um, Actually, much higher than when I run traffic ads. It seems like that's definitely the way that they're moving. So, I'll have campaigns that I'll spend $16 on and get 50,000 views on a traffic ad. Right, my CPM will be penny or cents, like 30 cents, something like that. CPM is cost per thousand views. Then I'll go and I'll turn and I'll do a brand awareness reach, which is you bidding per 1,000 impressions. It'll be $3, $5, or yeah, it'll be like $5. Just the way that their bid structure is set up, and like I said, it's in its infancy. I don't like blame them, but I almost always do the cost per click model, right? So that leaves you with traffic or conversions. Another update: they have a conversion pixel. I haven't dove too deep into it. I don't know if it's like the Facebook pixel where they're gonna eventually do, like retargeting and things like that, and all sorts of stuff. It seems like as for now, you can go and you can click the conversion pixel and then go to Reddit help, right? And installing the conversion pixel. It seems like as for right now, it's just a useful like tool to keep track of things, right? It doesn't actually, it doesn't actually like optimize, but I don't know. It could. It's an experiment I'm going to run soon here. But so right now, for most of you, traffic is probably going to be your best option. So when you get into traffic, you kind of go in here, and then you set up the ad group level. So ad group is really where kind of most of the magic happens with Reddit ads, and it used to be that with, or it really still is that with Facebook ads too. So there's like a lot of cues if you've done Facebook advertising that you can kind of take, and a lot of lessons that you can apply. So, if you target at the country level, right, I always, do US, Canada, UK, sometimes, whatever, they have these high level interest categories, right? And I've been playing with these. I don't know how I feel about them yet. Usually what I'm doing, and also, they'll expand your targeting if you don't untick that, right? I don't know how I feel about the interest categories, right? It's not the I haven't seen substantive differences versus targeting specific communities. And when I target specific communities, I can break out each ad group as just that one specific community. So kind of my best practices is, if I'm going to do, let's say, male fashion advice, right? I'd have to spell male fashion or male first correctly. So male fashion advice, right? So what I would do is I just break this out into its own, like, and this is how, you do a proper kind of like testing methodology. I'm going to come out with like an infographic or something like that you can use later for like kind of reference. But male fashion advice, right? I would name it male fashion advice, and then I would do, United States, right? And the reason I would do that is that Reddit is, if you combine the different targets, you're not going to be able to tell where your sales are coming from. If you're doing kind of a more performance focused campaign, which I suspect most of you are, right? You're probably doing e-commerce or some sort of lead generation or something like that, right? There's like a tangible outcome, and, by all means, if you're a consumer packaged good, massive brand that's watching this, give me a call. But, you want to break these out, right? So that you can see where your performance is coming from. Because Reddit doesn't do a very good job of breaking down the performance. Time of day targeting, I don't super use it, but then this is the interesting thing. So budget, you can do daily or lifetime budget, right? I always do daily. And then the bid. Now, you can do a bid from 10 cents to $100. I haven't tested the extreme high end of that. That said, if you do 10 cents, it will serve, right? Um, which is fascinating, like truly. Oh, and I also should mention you can do mobile or desktop, right? Um, most, I think something like 87% or some like ridiculously high um, percentage is people on mobile for Reddit. So, bear that in mind. But um, yeah, so you can do like a really low bid and it will serve. And I oftentimes do the minimum. Or if I'm feeling really cheeky, do 1 penny above the minimum, right? It won't necessarily eat your entire budget all day, but it'll be crazy efficient. I'm still trying to kind of figure out how the Reddit auction system works, and I've been reaching out to their team and stuff, trying to learn, trying to understand. Um, but we'll see. But anyways, so you can set this. I oftentimes do minimum bid. I think that's perfectly fine. Um, and so yeah, so then they have some options here. You can do a video post and a link post. I've done a lot of testing around this, and like I'm working with some big influencers and stuff like that on some Reddit ads. And I've gotten the opportunity to do that or to use some big influencer creative and things like that, like some pro athletes especially, which has been cool. But even then, the video never does as well as the link post. Always use the link post. So run the headline. Headline's like the most important, right? It's an absurd amount of characters that you get compared to like a Google ad or anything like that. So you can really kind of actually like tell a story in the headline. And then display link. And then just make sure that the images, they don't like, Facebook will scale them up and down or chop them however they need, whatever. You have to actually like meet this 1200 by 628 and 400 by 300 if you don't want it to look all wonky on Reddit. You can allow comments if you're brave. It depends on what you're trying to do. If you're like ready, if you're all in, if you're like, all right, let's allow some comments. Like I want to get into it, right? Like you can actually earn some respect if you don't fly off the handle, right? Because a lot of people that leave comments or ads are going to be kind of irate. Don't fall for the bait. You know what I mean? So if you turn the comments on, like be prepared to engage. That's the big thing about Reddit, right? They're weary of traditional advertising, and for good reason. Most advertising sucks. Like it just does. So just be conscientious of like the users, right? Like you're paying to get in front of them, but like you're paying Reddit, you're not paying them, right? They don't owe you anything. And so, I find that a lot of things that work too, kind of just getting back to that is like entertain, be fun. Like, do some like kind of meme sort of stuff in the headline, right? Obviously you have to be careful of that because of intellectual property and blah, blah, blah. But like, if you allude to a meme, in your ad, that's fine. Like you can do some like clever stuff. Like, you know, um, like go, do some research, see what's like actually going on. Don't try and use like 5-year-old memes or formats or anything like that. Um, but yeah, I think that the big thing is too is landing page. And now just setting expectations. Also they have a number of call to actions as well, right? You can use those. So, I think that the big kind of setting expectations that I've seen, I get a lot of very, very cheap traffic from Reddit, and some of it does convert, but it's not going to be like Google ads, right? Where you can get 10%, 20% conversion rates on landing pages. It's just not going to be that. This is going to be in the fractions of percent, right? And that's okay because they're 10 cents a click. You know what I mean? That's where, so you kind of have to like understand, and hopefully Reddit like kind of comes up with, a conversion pixel, things like that. You can do some of the stuff that Facebook's doing around like narrowing targets inside of the targets that you define, right? Of people that are likely to purchase and things like that. I think that that's probably what they're aiming towards with the conversion pixel. But yeah, hopefully they'll do that, in the future. But as of now, I just don't expect it to like convert like gangbusters, but just keep an eye to ROAS, return on ad spend. That's where I think Reddit ads really win. So their review has gotten a lot better. Their review process used to take a long time. It's gotten a lot better. Usually turns around within an hour or two now. Used to take days. So yeah, I think that what it really is worth it for you to try Reddit ads out, right? Especially if you're doing e-commerce or, like I said, some lead generation. I haven't tried app installs yet, but I'm going to in the near future here. I'll let you know about that. But yeah, so Reddit ads definitely. In 2019, I think that they're a fantastic option. I would urge, you kind of all to get in early on it. And so let me know, kind of your thoughts. I'm just going to consider this kind of a state of the union, and I'm going to start coming up with I'm going to start running some experiments, I'm going to, show you, some like real data, right? And we can kind of run through the results, kind of show you kind of how it works, right? And what expectations are. So in a wide range of different like projects and such, right? So yeah, thank you all for your time. Definitely check out Reddit ads, and happy marketing, everybody.